TOBY'S tug-of-war. Toby has lived on Sodor for many years. There are many things special about Toby. First and foremost, he is a tram engine. Being a tram gives him his very distinct square shape. He also has deep dark brown paint, side plates, and cow catchers. His cow catchers are to protect cows which may become stray on the lines, but also to give them a little push in the right direction. But Toby is an older engine. He can't go as fast as many of the younger engines, and occasionally breaks down with heavy loads, which sometimes frustrates the bigger engines. Ah, Toby, broken down again? That's the second time in 2 weeks. Toby tends to ignore those and mock him for his old-fashioned look, ways, and reactions, but that doesn't mean his feelings aren't hurt.
Slowpoke Toby, stop blocking my express line.
Stinky square steamy! You can't be the fastest and best. But friendly engines like Thomas see Toby being made fun of and try to cheer him up.
Cheer up, Toby. Ignore them. You're a really useful engine. Thank you, Thomas.
One morning, Toby was at a water tower getting his fill for the day. What's the matter, Toby? You seem very sad.
I don't think anybody finds me really useful anymore.
Stuff and nonsense, Toby. You and I get more tasks done than any two of those big tender engines put together.
Well, that might be true, but they also don't think I'm fast enough.
Speed doesn't equate to usefulness, Toby. Just then, Caitlin and Connor zoomed by.
Gosh.
Sorry there, Toby.
Didn't mean to startle you.
Not at all. I just never saw you two go so fast.
We always go fast. It's the best way to get jobs done.
Not necessarily. I like to take things slow and steady.
Well, maybe that's why you don't get so many jobs done in a day.
Goodbye. Well, that didn't sound so friendly of them.
I don't worry about it, Porter.
Yes, always remember, water off a duck's back. Toby understood Porter's advice, but he wasn't quite sure he could live up to it. A lone coach was derailed on the countryside beyond Ulfstead. Earlier in the morning, Molly was taking some passenger coaches through the countryside. Then it happened. The coupling snapped between Molly and her back-end coach. The coach went in one direction and Molly in the other. Toby was now at Ulfstead estate. He was dropping off some passengers for the tours.
Always on time, Toby?
You really think so, Millie?
Of course, you always are. Why would you doubt yourself?
Caitlin and Connor were saying earlier that I'll never get my jobs done when I'm as slow as I am.
C'est absolument ridicule.
Bless you.
No, Toby, I am not sneezing. I think it is wrong for those big mainline engines to be making fun of such a historic tram engine like yourself.
But to them, I'm just an antique. Say, I'm also an antique. Doesn't mean I can't get my jobs done any slower.
Toby felt proud by the Ulfstead engine's comments.
Thank you, everyone. I best be off.
Toby went down the line.
Say, what could that be? My, it's a lone passenger coach. Why would this be here?
Toby wanted to take the opportunity to prove himself as really useful. He decided that putting the coach back on the rails and bringing it to Sheila at the Nafford shunting yards would leave a good impression on the other engines.
Brother, look! Toby seems to be having trouble with that coach.
Need help there, Mr. Tram?
Connor, look!
By the time the two engines had finished speaking, Toby had already put the coach back on the rails.
So if you will excuse me, I must bring this coach to Sheila.
How about we bring it to Sheila, Toby? We'll get there much faster than you.
Connor's right. Sheila will be most impressed.
Toby finally wanted to stick up for himself.
No, you two. I will bring this coach back to the shunting yards. I found it first. And it's time to show everyone how useful steam trams can be.
Well, not if we get to it first. Toby coupled up to one end of the coach, while Connor and Caitlin coupled up to the other.
I must win.
No, we will! The engines tugged on the coach. The weight swayed towards Toby. Then back to the mainland express engines. The struggle was clear, but after much pulling and pushing, Toby finally had the coach.
I did it. Now to shunting yards.
Not exactly.
The two express engines were now derailed from their tug-of-war. Harvey and the breakdown train had arrived to put Connor and Caitlin back on the rails.
Thankfully, that coach was big hands.
Not at all. Sir Topham Hatt and a dapper-looking man emerged from the coach.
Oh my! Sir! And sir?
We didn't know anybody was in that coach. Well, if you two weren't so focused on winning a non-existent tug-of-war, then perhaps you would have realized that I and this very important visitor were in this special coach.
Well, sir, who is this important passenger?
I am the mainland railway inspector. Caitlin and Connor were shocked that they were face to face with an important mainland figure. That's right. The inspector and I were discussing creating more lines to connect the mainland and Sodor. But maybe I don't want any more, seeing how two seemingly respectable mainland engines behave today.
Topham, I am truly sorry for this embarrassment.
And I'm sorry as well. We're going to feel dizzy for days. And as for you, Toby, I admire you sticking up for yourself.
Even though I caused so much trouble for the mainland railway inspector.
Well, dear Toby, from where I'm standing, you didn't want to stop this tug-of-war.
Caitlin and Connor were very disappointed in themselves. I believe a proper consequence for your actions would be banning you from crossing into Sodor during the upcoming weekend. Yes, sir.
Sorry, sir.
Now, Toby, let's get this coach back to the shunting yards.
I'll join you, Topham. I want to see brave Toby in action.
It was the end of a very busy and dizzy day on the island of Sodor, finally, and Toby was resting in the shunting yards when Stafford approached him.
Oh, Toby, I heard about your tug-of-war victory with Caitlin and Connor before.
Thank you, Stafford, but I don't consider the tug-of-war victory a victory for me.
Well, what do you consider?
Finally showing those big engines that I can be very useful.
And Toby was right. The engines that had made fun of him earlier were now in awe by his story. We're sorry we teased you, Toby. You did something pretty neat.
Yes, yes, you did. Thank you, all of you. Toby, no matter what you do, I'll always be honored to be your friends.
Toby rang his bell in happiness. And he was finally able to return to his shed for peaceful sleep. The end.